Hi everyone and welcome to the English language course. This course is created to the Year 4 students in the Biology Department, College of Science, University of Baghdad. This course will be presented by Dr. Ahmed Salim, PhD from University of Liverpool, and me, Dr. Shamam Nasser, PhD from University of Leicester. This will be the first lecture of the course. In this lecture, I will gonna talk about the tense system, formal and informal language, compound words, and casual conversations. Generally, there are three classes of verbs in English language: auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, and full verbs. Before I start talking in more details about these classes, I want to mention here that the basic sentence structure in English consists of subject, main verb, and object. Sometimes adjective or adverb are using instead of object. Okay, now let's start with the first class of verbs, which is an auxiliary verb. Auxiliary verbs could be have or do or verb to be. Verb to be is used with ing verb to make continuous verb forms. For example, you are lying. You are lying. This is present continuous tense. Are is auxiliary verb. It's not the main verb of the sentence because it's following by lying, ing verb. They were reading. They were reading. Were here is an auxiliary verb because it's coming before reading, ing verb. I have been swimming. I've been swimming. Been here is an auxiliary verb because it's coming before swimming, ing verb. We will be having dinner at 8 o'clock. We will be having dinner at 8 o'clock. This is future continuous tense. Be here is an auxiliary, not is the main verb because it's coming before having ing verb. You must be joking. You must be joking. Be here is auxiliary verb because it's coming before joking, ing verb. Be is used with past participle to make the passive. For example, these books are printed in China. These books are printed in China. Are here is not the main verb in the sentence because it's coming before printed, and printed is past participle verb. It's present perfect tense. Are plus past participle verb. Where were you born? Where were you born? This is past perfect tense. Where here is an auxiliary verb because born is coming after. My phone is being stolen. My phone is being stolen. This is present perfect tense. Been is followed by stolen, the past participle verb. The city had been destroyed. The city had been destroyed. This is past perfect tense. Been here is followed by destroyed, past participle verb. This work should be done soon. This work should be done soon. Be here is an auxiliary verb because it's coming before done, and done is past perfect tense. Okay, Now let's have a look to another example for auxiliary verb. Have. Have could be used as an auxiliary verb if it's followed by past participle verb to make perfect forms. For example, have you ever tried sushi? Have you ever tried sushi? This is present perfect tense. Have here is not the main verb of the sentence because tried is the main verb. Have here is an auxiliary verb because it's followed by tried, past participle verb. My car had broken down before. My car had broken down before. Had here is an auxiliary verb. It's followed by broken, past participle verb. I will have finished soon. I will have finished soon. This is future perfect tense because it consists of will, have, and past participle verb. Have here is an auxiliary verb because finished is coming after. I would like to have met Napoleon. I'd like to have met Napoleon. This is infinitive sentence because there is would like, to, and verb. Have here is not the main verb of the sentence. Met is the main verb, and have here is an auxiliary verb. Having had lunch, we tidied up. Having had lunch, we tidied up. This is participle. It's past participle tense because had is followed by tidied, and had here is an auxiliary verb because it's followed by past participle verb. Now let's have a look on have and have got. Sometimes have and have got are using to do the same purpose. Both used to express position in the present. For example, do you have any brothers or sisters? Or have you got any brothers or sisters? Yes, I do. I have two brothers. Or yes, I have got two brothers. Have to can be replaced with have got for present obligation. For example, do you have to go now? Or have you got to go now? Yes, I do. I have to catch the bus. Yes, I have got to catch the bus. Only forms of have, not have got, are used in all other tenses. For example, past tense, future tense, or perfect tense. I had my first car when I was 19. I have had this car for 2 years. I will have a strawberry ice cream. I I'd had 3 cars by the time I was 20. I would like to have a dog. He loves having a sport car. So here had used different tenses, while have got we can't use in different tenses. Have not have got is used in many expressions. For example, have breakfast, have a bath, have a party, have a good time, have fun, have a word with someone. Have got is generally more informal. It's used more in spoken English than in written English. However, they are often interchangeable. Verbs like be, do, and have can also used in another way, like in a question tags, for example, isn't it, do you, have you, or in short answers. Yeah, because yes or no sometimes alone can sound abrupt or wrote. So it's better to answer with or in more polite way, like using auxiliary verb to answer the question. For example, are you hungry? No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Do you like jazz? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Do here is an auxiliary verb. Did you have a nice meal? Yes, we did. Yes, we did. Did here is an auxiliary verb used to answer the short question. Has she seen the mess? Has she seen the mess? No, she hasn't. No, she hasn't. Hasn't is an auxiliary verb used to answer this question. Or we can use auxiliary verbs in reply questions. These are not real questions, they are used to show that the listener is pay attention and is interested. For example, I love hamburgers. Do you? I hate them. Do you? Do here used to reply question. But it's not really a question. It's only showing that I'm interested in the in what he said. I have bought you a present. Have you? How kind. Have you is like kind of reply question, but I'm showing the listener that I'm paying some attention to what he said. Another type of auxiliary verbs are modal verbs. These verbs are not the basic verb in the sentence. Instead, they are helping other verbs. So they are different from be, do, and have because they have their own meanings. These verbs are can, could, may, might, will, would, shall, should, must, ought to, and need. Each one has its special meaning. For example, he must be at least 70. He must be at least 70. This is probability. So maybe he is 70 or maybe not. So I'm giving speculation. I'm not sure he is 70, but I'm just giving probability. He must be at least 70. You must try harder. You must try harder. This is an obligation, so you required to work harder. You must try. You required to do harder or to work harder. Can you help me? Can you help me? This is a request. So can here is coming to ask for help. Can you help me? I will help you. I will help you. This is willingness. So will here is using to ask for willingness. I will help you. Trin, 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 trin. That will be the postman. Will be. I'm giving probability. I'm not sure this is a postman who is ringing, but maybe he's a postman. Now the other all verbs in English language are full verbs. Bear in your mind, be, do, and have also can used as a full verb with their own meanings. For example, have you been to school today? Have you been to school today? Been here is the main verb of the sentence. There is no other verb, so been is the full verb. I want to be an engineer. I want to be an engineer. Be is here. Here is the main verb of the sentence. I want to be an engineer. I do a lot of business in Russia. I do a lot of business in Russia. Do here is the main verb of the sentence. The holiday did us a lot of good. The holiday did us a lot of good. Did here is the main verb of the sentence. Now let's talk about the usage of English tenses. English tenses have two elements of meaning, time and aspect. Time can be present, past, and future, while aspects can be simple, continuous, perfect, or perfect continuous. Combination of these two elements make the 12 tenses in English: present simple, present continuous, present perfect, and present perfect continuous, past simple, past continuous, past perfect, and past perfect continuous. For the future, either future simple or future continuous, or future perfect and future perfect continuous. These 12 tenses are the main tenses in English language, and we will gonna explain them in details during our lectures, future lectures. Time is one of the important elements that we depend on in the English tenses. Time referred to is usually obvious from the context. So sometimes it's clear from the sentence that the time of this sentence is past or future or it's present. For example, English people drink tea. English people drink tea. Drink is the main verb of this sentence, and it's present simple tense. So from the meaning or from the context of this sentence, English people drink tea all time. So the tense of this sentence is simple, present simple. Shh, I'm watching this program. Shh, I'm watching this program. I'm watching. It means now. I'm doing something now. I will see you later. I will see you later. Later means something in the future. So the time of this sentence is future. I went out with Jenny last night. I went out with Jenny last night. Went out is past verb. Last night is adverb refers to the past. Something happened in the past last night. So this sentence is referred to past time. Sometimes a present tense form can refer to the future. For example, I'm going out tonight. I'm going out tonight. The tense is present continuous for near future because I used tonight. The train leaves at 10 tomorrow. So this present simple for timetable. Tomorrow means something will happen in the future, but I used leaves. Leaves simple or present simple verb. But from the context of this sentence, I understand that this will happen in the will happen in the future. If you see Peter, say hello from me. If you see Peter, say hello from me. So something will happen in future. If you see Peter in the future, say hello from me. So this the sentence time is present simple, but it refers to something will happen in the future. If you see Peter, say hello from me. Sometimes a past tense form can refer to the present. For example, I wish I could help you, but I can't. So you need help in the past, but I couldn't help you. I wish I could help you, but I can't. So can here or can't here refer to the present. As I mentioned earlier, there are four aspects in English language: simple aspect, continuous aspect, perfect aspect, and perfect continuous aspect. The simple aspect describes an action or fact that is seen to be complete or permanent, and please focus on complete and permanent. This action or event that happens repeatedly and consistently. For example, the sun rises in the east. The sun rises in the east. This happened repeatedly, so every day sun rises from the east. When I have read the book, I will lend it to you. So as soon as I finish reading that book, I will lend it to you. So after complete reading the book, I will lend it to you. She has red hair. She has red hair. This is permanent. So always she has red hair. He always wore a suit. He always wore a suit, like it's a habit. He always wore a suit. It rained every day of our holiday. It rained every day of our holiday. So it means the whole 2 weeks. So something like happens consistently or permanent. Also, please bear in your minds and remember that some verbs are rarely used as a continuous aspect. This is because they express states that are seen to be permanent and not subject to frequent change. For example, verbs of mind like know, understand, believe, think, mean, and also verbs of emotions like love, hate, prefer, care, like, verbs of position like have, own, belong, certain other verbs like cost, need, contain, depend. So these verbs can't used in a continuous aspect because uh, they seem to be permanent, not subject to frequent change. The simple aspect expresses a complete action, and this is important to understand. This is the different differences between simple action aspect and continuous aspect. For this reason, we must use the simple, not the continuous aspect. If the sentence contains a number that refers to things done, for example, she has written 3 letters this morning, so she written 3 letters and the action completed. So in that case, we can't use continuous when we see or we notice in the sentence the action is done or thing is done. I drink 10 cups of tea a day. So this is a simple um, aspect. We can't use as a continuous. I can't say I am drinking 10 cups of tea a day. Or she is written uh, 3 letters this morning. I can't use in a continuous aspect because uh, the context refers to something that done, already done. It's not continuously or frequently changed. For example, he reads 5 books while he was on holiday. So this refers to something that done, completed. So I can't use continuous aspect in this case. The Continuous aspect. The continuous aspect expresses the ongoing nature of an activity. We are aware of the passing of time between the beginning and the end of the activity. The activity is not permanent, and this is the differences between the continuous aspect and the simple aspect. In simple aspect, the activity is permanent, while here is not permanent. For example, I'm staying with friends until find a flat. So the action here is temporary for short time until find another house or another flat. I have been learning English for years. I've been learning English for years and still I'm learning. So the action doesn't complete it, so it doesn't finished yet. Don't phone at 8, we will be eating. So the action here is in progress. Because the activity is seen in progress, it can be interrupted. For example, we were walking across a field when we were attacked by bull. So the activity here or the action is being interrupted by another action. Am I disturbing you? No, I'm just doing the ironing. So here the action is doing ironing, but somebody disturbing the action here. The activity may not be complete. For example, I was writing a report on the flight home, but the action doesn't complete, so I didn't finish it. He was drowning, but we saved him. So he didn't die. So he was nearly to die, but somebody saved him. So the action here interrupted. While we are still talking about simple and continuous aspect, we need to bear in mind some important information. The action of some verbs by definition lasts a long time. For example, live, work, play. But when we use the same verbs in continuous aspect, the continuous give these actions limited duration and make them temporary. For example, Hans is living in London while he is learning English. So Hans stay in London only for short time and it will be finished when he finished his learning. I'm working as a waiter until I go to university. So the action here is for short time and will finished when when I will go to university. Italy have been playing well recently. Maybe they will win the World Cup. So have been playing here, the action is for short time because it's followed by recently. And recently shows that the this performance for the Italy team is only for short time. The action of some other verbs lasts a short time, for example, lose, break, cut, hit, crash. So here these verbs opposite to the verbs in the previous example. These verbs last for short time when I use in a simple aspect, but when I use them in continuous aspect, it may be last for long time. For example, I lost all my money, or I have crashed your car, or she has cut her finger and he hit me. So here these verbs last for short time, or showing the expression that they lasting for short time. While when I use the same verbs in a continuous aspect, the action of these verbs seems longer. For example, I have been cutting the grass, so maybe for hours, or he was hitting me, maybe again and again. The last aspect that I will gonna talk about today is the perfect aspect. The perfect aspect expresses two ideas. The first one, the action is completed before another time. For example, have you ever been to America? so sometime before now. Or when I arrived, Peter had left, so sometime before I arrived, Peter had left. Also, another example, I will have finished the report by 10. So sometime before 10, I will finish the report. The exact time of the verb action is not important in the perfect aspect because the perfect aspect refers to indefinite time or unlimited time. For example, have you seen my wallet anywhere? I have lost it. So uh, before now, so I have lost my wallet. So there is no limited time when exactly I lost my wallet. Or we will have arrived by this evening. So before this evening we will arrive. The exception to this is the past perfect, which can refer to definite time. For example, I recognized him immediately. I had met him in 1992 at university. So here I gives a time 1992. So the exception here in the past perfect, when I use past perfect, I have to give a definite time. Now I'm approaching active and passive tenses. Passive tenses move the focus of attention from the subject of an active sentence to the object. For example, Shakespeare wrote Hamlet in 1599. Hamlet, one of the great tragedies, was written in 1599. So I moved the Shakespeare, the subject, and instead of that, I focus my attention on Hamlet, the novel that was written by Shakespeare. In most cases, by and agent are omitted or forgot in passive sentences. This is because the agent is not important or it isn't known or is understood. For example, kajri is made with rice and fish. Kajri is one of the dishes, Indian dishes. It's not important for me to know who made uh, this this dish, but the important thing for me to know that this dish made with rice and fish. Another example, this house was built in the 17th century. So I don't know who built that house and it's not important for me. The car will be cleaned before it's returned. The car will be cleaned before it's returned. It's a passive sentence. So I don't know who will clean the car, who will clean the car. It's not important for me. Sometimes we prefer to begin a sentence with what is none and end a sentence with what is new. In passive, the new can be the agent of the active sentence. For example, what a lovely painting. Yes, it was painted by Canelito. Also, you or they can use in informal language to refer to people in general or to no person in particular. In this way, we can avoid using the passive. For example, you can buy anything in Harrods, or they are building a new airport soon. So both of these sentences are informal language. There are many past participles that are used more like adjectives. So, for example, I'm very impressed by your work, or you must be disappointed with your exam results, or I'm exhausted. I have been on my feet all day. So impressed, disappointed, exhausted, they are not past participles, but they are an adjectives. And it's important to know that. After you learned a lot of information, please Can you pay some attention to the questions in page 8 of Unit 1? Try to complete the tense charts. Also try to answer questions in the same page regarding discussing grammar. Now we are approaching to the second part of our today's lecture. The formal and informal language. What is the differences between formal and informal language? Formal and informal language serve different purposes. The tone, the choice of words, and the way the words are put together vary between the two styles. In formal language, less personal and informal words are using. It's used when writing for professional or academic purpose, like university assignments and paperwork or paper research. Formal language doesn't use slangs or informal words. Also, it doesn't use contractions like shortening a word by combination or first person pronouns such as I or we. While in informal language, it's more casual and spontaneous. It's used when communicating with friends, family, uh, either in writing or in conversation. It's used when writing personal emails, text messages, and in some business correspondence. The tone of informal language is more personal than formal language.
Hi, Shan here for BBC Learning English. In this masterclass, we're going to look at some differences between formal and informal English.
Formal and informal language.
Hey, how's it going? Good afternoon, how are you? Sometimes formal and informal can seem like two different languages. In the same way you wouldn't normally wear shorts and a t-shirt to a job interview, if you use language that's too formal or too informal, you can give a bad impression. Let's look at some differences between formal and informal English. Now, I received an email this morning. Have a look at this email. Do you think the language is formal or informal, and why?
Dear Mrs. Brown, I'm writing to find out whether you have any jobs in your company this summer. At the Mo, I'm studying economics at uni. I've been working part-time in a shop and recently they promoted me to the role of manager. I'm enthusiastic, I work hard, I pay attention to detail.
Okay, so that email used informal language, and it's too informal for this style of letter. We're going to look at 4 features that make this informal, and we're going to change it to make it more formal. Number 1, choice of vocabulary. In informal English, we use more common words and more phrasal verbs. For example, here we have a phrasal verb, find out. It would be better to use a more formal equivalent like inquire. Same with jobs, this is quite informal. So instead, let's use vacancies here. Instead we have, I'm writing to inquire whether you have any vacancies. Number 2, abbreviations. It's more common in informal language to use abbreviations, contractions, shortened forms of verbs. Let's have a look. So, here we have at the mo, which is short for at the moment. This is okay when you're speaking, but not when you're writing. Here we could use currently, which is even more formal. Same here, uni is short for university, so don't use this short form in a letter. Currently, I'm studying economics at university. Quite often, in formal language, we choose passive structures over active. Let's have a look here. The active sentence, they promoted me, is quite informal. It'd be much better to use a passive form here to make it more formal. I was promoted. So, recently, I was promoted to the role of manager. This doesn't mean don't use active structures in a formal letter, but have a think about whether the passive one is more appropriate. Finally, in informal English, short, simple sentences are much more common. whereas in formal English, we use more complex structures. Take a look at this one. Here we have 3 short, simple sentences, and this is fine in informal English, but in formal English, it's better to use a complex structure. We can do this by adding relative pronouns or linkers. For example, I'm an enthusiastic person who works hard and pays attention to detail. So, would you kindly visit our website? We're friends, that's too formal. Go to our website, bbclearningenglish.com, for more information about this and to practice formal and informal English. See you soon. Goodbye.
I hope you enjoyed watching that video and also learned from that video the differences between formal and informal language. You have some examples from your textbook. Please pay some attention to Taylor's tweets on page 6 and Teresa's email, page 7, unit 1. Is the style formal or informal, and why? Try to answer the questions in page 7. The third part of lectures today is talking about compound words. When 2 words are used together to yield a new meaning, a compound is formed. Compound words can be written in 3 ways. As open compounds, so spelled as 2 words, example, ice cream, or as closed compounds, joined to form a single word, for example, doorknob, or hyphenated compounds, 2 words joined by hyphen, example, long term. Sometimes more than 2 words can form a compound word, for example, mother-in-law. In your textbook, you can find a lot of examples of compound words, some of them as noun, some of them as an adjective. So please pay some attention and try to find the differences between compound words. For example, you have lifestyle, lifelong, life size, life expectancy, and life insurance. We are approaching now to the final part of today's lecture, which is talking about casual conversation or everyday English. Casual conversation means chatter, gossip, table talk, joking, kidding, dialoguing, and small talk. In a typical day, casual talk may consist of talking to your parents, your brothers, sisters, friends, restaurant waiter, colleagues at work, hairdresser or barber, receptionist, customer service representative, and a next door neighbor. Understand more the casual conversations. Please read the dialogue on page 13 in the textbook to understand the casual conversation, and also please try to answer the questions on the same page 13. Thank you for your listening and have a good time. Bye.